The Nigerian writer Chinua Achebe is one of the best in Africa and the world over. He has written many novels, poems, and critical works. His first novel and opus was Things Fall Apart. Things Fall Apart occupies a central place in African literature and remains the most widely read, studied, and translated African novel. He wrote this book in 1958 at the age of 28. The book sold 20 million copies and was translated into 50 languages. In 2018, the Encyclopedia Britannica ranked Things Fall Apart is one of the greatest books ever written. It was on position 5 on the BBC's 100 Stories That Shaped the World. It is also among the hundreds of books that were featured on television series The Great American Read. Things Fall Apart had a special place in Chinua Achebe's heart, to such an extent that he turned down $100 million USD offer by 50 Cent to use the title Things Fall Apart in his movie in 2011. What makes Things Fall Apart a unique and deeply moving book? The novel centers on the protagonist, Okonkwo, a great warrior and a successful farmer. In spite of his poor background, Okonkwo rises through the ranks, gaining titles until he becomes one of the 6 leaders of Umofia. His success is, however, short-lived as the white man comes to his village. This is when the things fall apart. The values that bind the Igbo people together are broken. His own son, a replica of Okonkwo's father, Unoka, is a loafer. He joins the white man's religion. That is the beginning of the disintegration of Okonkwo's family. Okonkwo's actions are driven by fear of failure. Other members of the village also join the white man, who is brought in primarily 4 things: the church, the government, the shop, and the school. These are all agents of change. Umofia was changing. Things Fall Apart is a tragic story of a man driven to his final demise by the fear of what people might say. He is haunted by the ghost of his unsuccessful father. He hates everything that Unoka represents. As a result, he goes to extremes and ends up killing a white man and hanging himself in the process. At the end of it all, someone asks, why did he do it? This makes the collapse of Umofia and the establishment of colonial rule possible. Things fall apart. There is, however, more to this novel than what meets the eye. Okonkwo goes deeper. Achebe goes deeper to look at some bad practices in Igbo land. One of these bad practices was the killing of twins. The other was leaving people to die in the evil forest. It was an abomination for such people to be among the villagers. Things Fall Apart formed a solid base from which Achebe sprang to write other inspirational novels, inspirational books of poetry, inspirational books and critical works on African literature. Some of the outstanding books that Chinua Achebe has written include Arrow of God, A Man of the People, Antilles of the Savannah, No Longer at Ease, There Was a Country, Girls at War and Other Stories, and Home and Exile.